Time to go. We're all in readiness. There's a slip in position. And Sompol Kami will bowl the first ball of this match.
He's not the tallest individual, he's a skiddy customer, but can get the ball to shape away nicely from right-handers. So he'll be looking to set the tone, having had the toss won and deciding to bowl first.
Yeah, even though we don't have bowlers that are operating at that 140, 145, it's still going to be a tricky surface. There's a bit of grass on this pitch, and judging by the game that took place yesterday, there's even a little bit of bounce. So if the bowlers can get the ball in the right area, they could cause some trouble.
Our umpires for this evening, Raman Madanagopal and also Joel Wilson. They're the men in the middle tonight. Richie Richardson is our match referee, and Chris Brown of New Zealand, he is the TV umpire. Sompol Kami, I mentioned that he played in the 2014 tournament, got a wicket actually with his 6th ball. These are our mascots for the tournament, Blaze and Tonk. They're here to have a bit of fun this evening, and there are plenty of other people who are keen to do exactly the same thing. It's almost carnival season here in St Vincent. It'll be off the back of this tournament, so it'll be one long party. I think that's off the pad. It's run down to the boundary, and yes indeed, 4-leg byes.
Yeah, Sompol may be disappointed with us. He started so well, 3 fantastic deliveries, hit the right area, but then just trying to straighten things up. You can see the seam position, he wants to get to the waist swing, but that one just slides down the leg side, clips the thigh pad of Reza Hendricks, and South Africa are underway.
Just the one change in the South African team this evening. Just wondering, gents, if that surprises you at all, whether this was an opportunity for them to use their bench strength.
Yeah, it might have been, but I think just particularly from a batting perspective, they would feel that the batters haven't really fired. Even the likes of Miller, Klaasen and Stubbs, who've got amongst the runs, haven't played on the greatest of pitches. So they would like the ball coming on. They'd like an opportunity to really be able to express themselves, put a pace on the delivery. But the top 3 will be key. They need to get some big runs under the belt. We've seen so many tournaments around the world where the top 3 dominate terms, 4 without loss.
There's no changes in that batting lineup for South Africa, just the one change in the bowling setup with Tabraiz Shamsi, the left arm wrist spinner, coming in for Keshav Maharaj.
And this is the South African lineup that is taking place now. Just the one change, Shamsi in for Keshav Maharaj. And I think the bowling lineup has been fantastic for the South Africans so far. And opportunity to change their team tonight for their bowlers to have a rest, but their first game in the Caribbean after doing their USA leg in New York. That's probably a good thing to let the bowlers adjust to these conditions and let the batters find some form.
Dipinder Singh Eri bowling his off spin. Starts off with a wide.
Yeah, it's a tactic a lot of teams use against South Africa, in particular to Quinton de Kock, the off spinner with the new ball. They try and get it in the right area, get it to slide or maybe grip, but that one was very flat at a speed of 103 kilometers per hour.
It's through point. Chased by Lamichan, who flicks the ball back. Sompol Kami completes the fielding. Here's the Nepal lineup. Lamachan, the one change today, coming in for the left arm spin of Saga Dakal.
Yeah, it's good running. Quinton de Kock aware of how deep on the edge of the circle the fielder was. Yeah, Lamachan is the one guy who people around the world would kind of know because of all the franchise cricket he's played and the competitions he's played in. And I know it's a bit of a surprise that with the lack of cricket that he's going to be slipped straight in, but I think all that experience that he's gathered over the years means that he's got that ability to stand up what might be the firepower in the middle overs of someone like a Miller, Klaas and Markram. So I'm actually not surprised that he has been included.
Dipendra Singh Arya now going to be bowling to the right-handed Markram. Aiden Markram needs 2 sixes for 50 in 2020 internationals. Two batters, Hendricks and de Kock. A watchful start from them.
So not really 100% sure of what to expect from the Nepal team. Inside edge allows Quinton de Kock to get off the strike. It's not like you've played many matches they haven't played against Nepal, so maybe just having a little bit of a look-see and trying to cash up. That's a beautifully bowled arm ball. And see how he gets it in that area with a bit of shape towards the left-hander.
Yes, he started off as a medium pacer actually before he switched to off-spin. Hendricks wanted the single there, and de Kock said no. 10 without loss.
Yeah, there's been two examples in that over of the running between Hendricks and de Kock. There hasn't been up to scratch, and you do think that maybe you need to pick up the intensity just a touch.
Just searching for a little bit of form, Quinton de Kock, in the recent past. Timed that one nicely though.
Yeah, both these batters will want to just spend a little bit of time out in the crease, not too long. I think if they just bat normally, the Nepal bowlers, having not played against a team like South Africa before, the bigger teams, England, Australia, you find that they will bowl the odd bad ball, and the quality that these two players have, we're already seeing a slip being taken out. It just shows you with the score, 10 without loss and two batters that are not particularly in good form. I would have left that slip in there. See if you can get an early wicket against the Proteas.
It looks as though it's kept a little low. Sean Pollock was mentioning a little bit earlier that he expects the ball just to skid through with a slightly lower trajectory of these shorter bowlers.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about bounce from yesterday. That was a different game. It was during the day, and maybe this evening it's cooled down a little bit. It could just skid on. There's still a lot of grass on that pitch. It is the second game in 2 days, but we yet to see a lot of bounce just yet. It's fantastic areas so far. Continuing to put the South African opening pair under pressure. And this is the surface that we are referring to. Day 2 on this pitch. It looks really good, nice and clean, only 40 overs old, so not too bad. but it's that extra grass, and there's been talk about how this pitch can bounce and seam. We haven't seen a lot of it just yet, but we've still got a long game to go.
De Kock's going to profit with a boundary there, but it was an unconvincing shot. Perilously close to the stumps, almost dragged it on.
Yeah, fortunate boundary here for Quinton de Kock. We saw early on the over he played a bit of a 45-degree bat angle shot that he missed and went through to the keeper. That one finds the bottom edge, but he doesn't drag it onto the stumps, thankfully for the South African. It misses that leg stump, misses the man at short 45, and away for the first 4 of the evening. He's happy.
Protection out there at deep backward square leg.
I just noticed something on the release over here. He almost has 3 fingers on the ball. If you look there, it's very different, almost 4 fingers. It's very different to the ordinary way that one would coach a bowler to hold the ball. You normally got your 2 fingers down the seam, your thumb at the bottom. I don't know, Polly, have you ever seen someone hold the ball like that before?
Yeah, you might do a drill if you've got issues with your wrist position and you want to try and correct it and try and get it more behind it. You might hold all 4, but maybe that's one of his variations. It looks like he's gone back to the 2 fingers now. And that's a nice short pitch delivery. He's used the short ball well as well. He's a skiddy customer, so it can be one of those unexpected short deliveries. His speeds have been hovering up near the 136, 137. So that's pretty impressive. Roddy Estrick is the bowling coach. Roddy Estrick, I haven't seen him in yonks. He used to play in South Africa. He actually played with my uncle in the late 80s. He was the bowling coach for the West Indies for a period of time, now gone across to Nepal.
Well bowled, really testing over that from Sompel Kami. 16 without loss, South Africa in 3 overs.
Yeah, we touched a little bit on Ariza Hendricks, 1 of 8 deliveries, 1 of 9 deliveries actually, so he's really struggling to get going. He wasn't good touch. He got 87-34 in 2 of the matches against the West Indies in the T20s before the World Cup started, and then after the cricket he played in New York, he's kind of lost his way just a touch, so you'll be hoping to find the middle of the bat sooner rather than later.
Stars on show tonight. Good work by Kushal Bertel at mid-off.
Yeah, he did brilliantly from the commentary box position. We watched as the delivery was bowled, it was almost halfway down. Bertel charged across to the offside in order to go and cut that off, and Quinton de Kock might have thought that the placement was going to be really good. He could get it away to the fence, but brilliant bit of fielding.
Smashed down the ground by Hendricks. Much needed boundary for him and for South Africa.
Yeah, just the release that Ariza Hendrick needs. He needs to find the middle of the bat a little bit more, and on this occasion getting that half volley that he wants. 1 of 9 at that point, but he's always 2 hits away from catching up with that strike rate. Just like that, getting one that's a bit of a drag down. Batters are getting on a bit of a roll now.
Well, from yesterday we saw plenty of turn and plenty of bounce on this surface as well. The spinners really enjoyed operating here.
I do think they gave it a chance. They're hovering around 80 or 90 kilometers per hour. He's firing it in there at over 100. There, he's got it. He's managed to have one that's perfectly placed from a length perspective, maybe holding up on the wicket. That's what Quinton de Kock's tending to suggest. And Nepal have got there first.
Yeah, Quinton de Kock looking down at the pitch again. Another little arm ball, maybe just hitting the seam and holding up a little bit. Quinton de Kock probably hard hands with that. It's always a good opportunity when you take a caught and bowled. Quinton de Kock has gone for 10. South Africa are 22 for 1.
South African captain Aidan Markram in at number 3. He's there because once again the South African opening pairing hasn't worked. Their last 5 stands in T20Is, 9, 10, 0, 11 and now 22 this evening. Reza Hendricks 4, 3, 0. Beautifully bowled.
There, Reza Hendricks trying to give him some room and a bit of bounce. You see, he tried to roll his wrists, but it's bounced a little higher and finding the top edge and going up for a pretty easy catch for Airy. He's bowled beautifully tonight. He's got 2 for 15. He's held the squeeze on the South Africans so far.
Yep, all 4 wickets falling to spin here, this Nepal side.
Miller drops it into the onside. He wants 2. He'll come back for 2 and he'll get 2. 4 overs to go in this South African innings. They're 85 for 4.
Four spinners amongst the 7 bowlers that Nepal have used. The return of Sandeep Lamishane, absolutely significant in that. Look at that economy. Even though he hasn't been amongst the wickets, he puts so much pressure on.
5 overs have yielded just 19 runs. And in this middle phase, you can see the tourniquet has been applied by the Nepali bowlers very successfully indeed. No boundary for 5 overs now. Lamichand's had it on a string this evening, hasn't he?
Absolutely beautiful. A little bit of drift there. New batter in at the crease. And things are just getting more difficult for South Africa right now. And he's gone through his 2 overs, 3 overs, only gone for 8 runs.
Stubbs pulls out the sweep shot and it's gone for 4. Oh dear, dear, dear. Watch the spin is always the call in that situation. And Karan KC most assuredly didn't.
It's the first boundary in 33 balls, and Tristan Stubbs pulling out the big sweep. He's one of South Africa's tallest players there, so the old snake in the field as it spins. Unfortunate that for the bowler. But the taller batters might be the guys that South Africa will look to get to right now. They get to the bounce a little bit better than the rest of the batters. It's a good reverse sweep. Could run away for a couple runs for Tristan Stubbs.
First boundary that Lamishane has conceded. There have been few and far between across his whole South Africa innings. And there's some dampness certainly on the grass now as well for this night game. So if you're wrong-footed, you have every chance of completely losing your feet, as we saw on the boundary.
Scared to toss the ball up. Oh goodness me, there's a little bit of a misfield. That's been the one blot on the landscape really for Nepal this evening. This time it's Dipendra Singh Ari who's the culprit at long off.
Yeah, just a little bit of a bobble over there, but you'd think that he should have picked that up cleanly and thrown it in. This way South Africa's been really good. They were really good in New York with this in the last final few overs. Tristan Stubbs, Klaas and Miller were the guys that South Africa turn to, and they're doing it again today. Just knocking the ball on the head, running really hard. Good body language between them if there's no boundaries.
How will the batters cope with the pace of South Africa? Henrik Nortje has taken 8 wickets across the tournament so far. He's been so important to the South Africa side. Long time out with injury. Missed the whole of the South African summer, missed the India World Cup.
.95 for 4. Well, there's been some anxious fielding this evening for Nepal. This has been, well, their Achilles heel tonight, you would say. You saw there that Bertel indicated he'd lost the ball in the lights. Sompol Kami, one hand from him. Karim KC holding that one just about.
Maybe.
Well, the Nepal fans in the crowd this evening, they're happy, and why not? Their side really has performed superbly well for the most part. Just the odd laps in the field. But other than that, it's been excellent. It really has. Dipendra Singh Eri is going to bowl his last over now.
Yeah, I think they've done really well as a bowling unit. Yes, they probably looked a little bit sloppy in the fielding department, but certainly, if you look at the way they have done themselves against some quality batters, well, full credit to the bowlers, especially the spinners.
The first time we've seen the spinners now just going a little bit quicker. Eri has bowled the odd one that's been the quicker ball, but the pitch has played beautifully for the spinners. There's been some bounce, there's been some spin. And I wouldn't exactly go to death bowling straight away. South Africa's still under pressure. They're probably 2 or 3 hits away from where they would like to be right now. It's exactly
Sliced
like
off
that.
the outside edge, and the Lamachane takes it at backward point. Eri strikes, and it's another wicket down. Miller had a reprieve from an LBW a little earlier. No reprieve this time.
Yeah, this one tossed up by Eri. The previous ball going quick and full. This one slightly slower. David Miller trying to go with the long handle. And there's a bit of spin, a bit of bounce. And that just pops up, and he's caught it short third man. Nepal are all over South Africa right now. That's the end of David Miller. He's gone for 7. Never really got started. South Africa are 97 for 5.
Look at those Nepal supporters. They're happy, and why wouldn't they be? As you can see at the bottom of the screen there, South Africa in all sorts of trouble. Marco Jansen in at number 7.
Yeah, we spoke of Lamachane, but what about Eri? Now he's picked up 3 wickets, and in his last over now, he's got 3 more deliveries in this over.
Probably the one guy South Africa would like to have it out there right now is the 2 tallest players in their team, Marco Jansen and Tristan Stubbs. And this one just slowing it up to David Miller. Look at that. Too slow, trying to go across the line. A little bit of pace, a little bit of spin, sorry, a little bit of bounce. It finds the outside edge. And South Africa have not really decided to use their feet down the pitch. They've tended to stand still, and maybe the taller batters, as I was alluding to now, Marco Jansen, Tristan Stubbs, they might find their length easier to pick than the rest of the batters.
Stubbs looking for the sweep, he can't find it. Dipendra Singh Eri is the 5th highest wicket taker for Nepal in 2020 internationals, behind Lamachane, Karan KC, Avinash Bohara and Sompor Kami. He has bowled beautifully this evening. Look at those figures in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. What a spell from Eri. 3 for 21 for him. South Africa with 2 overs to go. 99 for 5.
100 तक रस बनाएगा आपने. बोर आने वो.
$68 for 1 at one stage, South Africa, and that was in the 12th over. Since then, it's been one-way traffic, and that traffic has been all the way back to Kathmandu. Bahara into the attack. Plenty of options there for the captain, Rohit Paudel. Just 1 or 2 bowlers bowled out so far.
They need to find boundaries. They need to find boundaries here.
That brings up the 100 as another run drips into the bucket.
You'd think that this is the over that South Africa would want to target.
10
Sandeep
hits
Lamachane
delivered.
probably going to bowl. Has he bowled out? Excuse me, he's bowled out, sorry. But still, with 11 balls to go, not much batters to come after this. KG Rabada in next. You would hope that these 2 batters see South Africa through to the end of the 20th over.
Well, that's 2 shots in succession by the tallest batters in the side. Rather than looking to use their reach, they're looking to improvise.
Yeah, credit to the bowler. You got to pick the bowler because Bohara is bowling the 19th over and he's bowled 2 good deliveries, conceding only 2 singles.
It's a slog and a miss. South Africa just really struggling their way through this innings right now. It's been fantastic bowling by the Nepal team. And with these 2 batters that are in right now, anything can change. 2 or 3 hits. We can only really tell how good this pitch is once both teams have batted on it, but right now South Africa a bit of a pickle.
And there's no one out to a deep square leg. That's gone for 4. Stubbs moving across his stumps and taking advantage of that vacant space.
Yeah, earlier we were talking about the reverse sweeps, and what's happened is Nepal have dropped a 3rd man and a point, aware of that reverse sweep potential from Tristan Stubbs and leaving the big square leg area open. And in this case, he's walked across and played a conventional leg glance and no one out there, and just rolls away for a boundary.
Well, the Prime Minister's in the mood there for supporting Nepal.
Started to take some chances, and the last one really picked up a nice spot to pick up a boundary.
Just wondering, Dale, with that change in field because of the 2 reverse sweeps, should the captain have blinked there, or should he have stuck to what he was doing and what was succeeding? Because those 2 reverse sweeps, remember, had failed.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at the field, his square leg is behind square, and the short fine leg is really, really fine. He can move those guys around, especially with the extra man out on the offside. And that's the end of the over. It's a very good over, that. South Africa 106 for 5.
लामिछला दिनुपर्ने हो क्या अहिले त यार. बाँकी छ किन उसको.
St Vincent and the Grenadines at night. Stunning shot.
कुशल गुर्तरलाई दियो
And it's a stunning performance from Nepal so far. They've stunned the unbeaten South Africans, that's for sure. There's Rabada waiting to come in, and of course with the change that South Africa have made, normally it would be Maharaj who would be coming in at number 8, adding a little bit of batting depth. Not the case this evening with Tabraiz Shamsi coming into the side. Here's Bertel. 6.
That's the power of Tristan Stubbs, as well as the reach, being one of the taller batters. The natural length of Bertel has landed. He's troubled all the other South African batters. This one tossed up. But Tristan Stubbs' reach is slightly more than any of the others, and being able to get to the pitch of the ball and the power that he's got, he's cleared the ropes. It's a much needed 6 that South Africa has needed.
It's only the second 6 of this innings, but what a start to this last over.
Kushal Mullah, misfield from him. Well, it's an interesting gamble that Podell has taken here by using the spinner in the 20th over.
Yeah, and also opting to just flight the ball a little bit, you know. Wicket playing the way that it is, if he bowls it almost into the pitch, holds his length a little bit, at the normal pace, it should trouble Tristan Stubbs and the South Africans, but he's opted to toss it up a little bit.
Yes, he had the option of bowling Sompal Kami and Karan KC, the seamers. They both had overs remaining. Spin is the choice from Rohit Podell.
And have a look at his figures. 3.3 overs, 2 for 18. He hasn't given anything away and is among the wickets. He's already picked up 2 wickets, but probably that's the reason why the skipper feels that he's the right call to bowl the last over.
Dropped into the onside. They want to. They're not going to get it.
Yeah, they all like
The
it.
excitement there from some Nepal fans. Dr. Kishore Shalat, the president of Cricket West Indies, looking on. This is his home country. Out. Good catch from Anil Shah running in from long on. Landed with his elbows on the ground, but he still managed to hold on. And Jansen goes.
Yeah, well ball by Bertel. There we go, using the pitch. Marco Jansen finding the toe end of the bat. Not managing to clear the ropes, as we saw earlier in the over with Tristan Stubbs. Good catch, diving forward. Nepal fans are excited about that. Nepal have bowled beautifully tonight. Marco Jansen, and he's gone for 1. South Africa 115 for 6.
Celebrations in the stands. Nepal fans, I'm sure they can barely believe what they're seeing here, because aside South Africa, who've been playing well, they've got 3 wins. They're really struggling.
Equal को लागि आयो यार दोस्त 140 रन टुर्नामेन्ट
Last ball. And
Out.
another wicket for Bertel.
Wicket, last one wicket.
4 for him. And a fantastic end to this innings from a Nepal perspective. South Africa at one stage were 68 for 1. And after their 20 overs, having been put into bat, they're 115 for 7. A tremendous performance from Nepal.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Nepal. 116 to win. 116 runs to create history for Nepal. At 5.8 runs per over. They are in the huddle, and the only thing in their mind will be 116 runs. They've got a job on hand because looks a difficult pitch to bat on, especially when the spinners is on. But not a big total to chase. Picks up Kagiso Rabada in that fashion. He had nothing else to do but to go and whack it out of the ground, completely missing it. And the keeper does the rest. It's a lovely delivery.
Yeah,
And a lovely way to finish his spell and the innings of South Africa.
Well, if you want a little bit of cheer from a South African perspective, this is their highest total of the tournament. But then it's a pretty low bar, I'm afraid, after 3 matches in New York, and they have got a lot of work to do now, Dale Steyn, to try and sort things out. Here's the batting card.
Yeah, South Africa's batters really struggled tonight. Reza Hendricks, the only one with some runs there with 43 or 49, but everybody else struggled. The spin of the Nepal bowlers dominated the South Africans tonight. We didn't see a lot of batters moving down the pitch, and rightly so. When we did see one, KG Rabada was stumped off the final ball having a slog. Everyone really struggled. Tristan Stubbs scored some at the end. He had a couple lusty blows to finish off with 27 of 18, but everybody else struggled, and the bowling was fantastic.
It was outstanding. Having a look at Lamashana, they were expecting him to do the trick, but he was pretty economical. But a look at Burchell, 4 overs, 4 for 19. Very impressive from Airy also, right up the top of the order when he picked up 3 for 21.
Let's go downstairs now and hear who Alison Mitchell has got with her.
The show so far, Kushal Bertel with me. Kushal, could that have gone any better for you with the ball?
First of all, thank you so much. Yeah, wicket was a bit slow in the center, but I think my role is to bowl in the discipline line. So I did that. I'm really happy.
You came back with 2 quick wickets after a drop in the deep. Did you lose the ball in the lights there?
Yeah, the light is coming straight in my eyes, so I dropped that.
It was a tremendous recovery. You've given yourselves every chance of creating history here. What was said in the huddle just now? You've never beaten a test-playing nation before.
Yeah, never beaten test match before, but this is a great chance. 115 in the board, and so we are looking forward to it.
How are you prepared to face the pace that South Africa possess? Because you'll be opening the batting in a moment.
Yeah, really excited, but wicket is very slow, so I think we can do well.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
South Africa's last 9 overs yielded 48 for the loss of 6. So, Nepal to stay alive in the tournament, they need 116 runs for a famous victory. Can they get it? We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll find out. South Africa,
African batters don't trust it. And 57 for 1 in 10.1, Dale Steyn. Nepal's bowlers will feel they've done a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, they've done a fantastic job, and there was a long conference there with the South African management that came out to chat to Captain Aiden Markram and Reza Hendricks to just, I guess, plot and plan their way forward in the next few overs.
Flashing blade is no run.
I think one of the interesting things that I would just throw an idea into the hat is potentially to see maybe somebody like a Marco Jansen come out and just have a bit of a slog. I know how good Stubbs, Klaasen and Miller are, but if you can get 2 overs where they can go flying, and Jansen does play spinners really well, South Africa could find themselves back into that 7 or 8 runs per over position.
It's a lovely looking shot. That has flown off the middle of the bat. Aiden Markram, maybe that's a trigger for the skipper to get up that gearbox and start attacking this bowling.
Yeah, all the bowlers, the faster bowlers for Nepal have been relatively short individuals and a little bit more round arm in approach. That's why the ball's just been skidding on. That one was just a little bit of width, and Aiden Markram's eyes lit up and he thought, here we go. Let me get this innings underway. Let me really apply some pressure. Smashed it through that cover region.
Got to ask you, Dale, how much gym work do these South Africans do? Because he looks like a light heavyweight champion here, Aiden Markram. Straighter this time.
Yeah, Aiden's forearms are very powerful. That's why you see when he plays those shots through extra cover, even off his legs, but when he stands up tall, he's able to hit that ball really hard due to the power and strength in his forearms.
This will show you the ascendancy that Nepal have had through those 2 phases in the first 10 overs. Those are the forearms and the biceps working. for Aidan Markram. Smashes it past extra cover. Straight, lofted, man underneath it. Oh dear, Birtle puts it down. That was a simple catch and he knows it.
Yeah, we were just praising the pressure that they applied. Birtle tends to suggest that maybe the floodlights got in his eyesight at the last minute, at the crux moment, but Reza Hendricks didn't even run. He held his position. He knew he hadn't got anywhere near the contact he was after. It wasn't going to carry. He thought he was going to be on his way, and that's a major blow for Nepal. They had done so well, built so much pressure. They deserved another wicket, and not to be.
Yeah, they've worked hard. Birtle, that long off. Looks for the Yorker this time. It's a single. 11 gone. Nepal still finding their line and length. 67 for 1. Well, the first 11 overs really belonged to Nepal. Nepal won the toss. There's captain Rohit Paudel winning the toss. Say we'll have a bowl first. Abhinash Bohara 10 from his first over. It's pretty important now that Reza Hendricks, who's been in for 34 balls for 35, stays as long as he can. He's been in there, he's got a feel of this pitch, 45 from 44, this partnership. There's so much batting in this South African side. Klaasen, Stubbs, Miller, Janssen. There's tons of batting to come.
Well, you reckon Abhinash went between the over and said to him, listen, don't mind you dropping the catch, but don't allow it to go for 4 as well.
Nothing worse than a drop catch off a bowler, hey? Polly? Can't say I enjoyed it much myself.
Dragged it on. Aidan Markram, the skipper, has gone. And that's very well bowled by Birtle. He's made amends for the drop catch.
Yeah, it's a brilliant bit of bowling. He just held that one back. It seemed to come out a little bit slower than what we've seen from him so far. And Aidan Markram almost had to hold and wait for it to get to him. And then all he could do is the bottom edge onto the middle stump. So Birtle does reprieve himself from a bit of a nasty drop catch. He's managed to pick up the second wicket after all. Markram goes for 15 of 22. 68 for 2.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines very much part of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup for 2024. Heinrich Klaasen. Well, in the last year or the last 9 months, nobody's hit more sixes for South Africa in T20 cricket than this man. But his sixes seem like tens because they go such a long way.
And such a brilliant play of spin too, so this is an important time for him to be at the crease for the South Africans. He really has the ability to dominate. There is the wicket where Markram gave himself room, then just had to hold and pause a little bit, and then inside edge onto middle stump.
Klaasen, he'll have a look at it and then he'll assess, make an assessment, and then this is the end of Aidan Markram. Huge stride forward. The ball never really arrived. Like second class post. Why bother? Pay the extra and go first class. But Birtle, that really didn't make a lot of difference. He dropped the catch at long off and then he got his man. He bowls the leggy this time.
Yeah, and a lot of the South Africans they're not really coming down the wicket. They're using the pitch. They're moving sideways. I don't think they really know if they can trust the pitch and the amount of turn that there has been a lot of turn tonight, but also maybe just a little bit of guesswork potentially, whether it's going to be a googly, a bit of a leggy. So they're using the crease well, sideways, but nothing really coming down the pitch. And the one guy that does bat really well, who stands in his crease and plays spinners really well, is Heinrich Klaassen. He doesn't tend to use his feet.
Oh, look at that. Little spitting cobra out there. Hendricks leaves this alone. He knows it's too wide, could get him into trouble.
And exactly another reason why he's not running at the ball. He's kind of standing in the crease, trying to play it from there.
Well bowled, really fine over. 12 gone, 69 for 2.
रामेछाने आएन त यार 2टा मात्र देखाइछन्
12 overs gone. Heinrich Klaassen has just come in. David Miller still to come. Tristan Stubbs and Marco Janssen, a genuine all-rounder. And then you've got your quicks, Rabada, Nokia, Otniel Bartman, medium pace, and Shamsi's in the side. Tabraiz Shamsi will enjoy bowling on this pitch. The wrist spinner who comes in for Keshav Maharaj. Reza Hendricks still there, 36 from 38. He want to balance that equation. He wants to get those runs per balls way above what it is right now. Lamachane, oh, well bowled. Sandeep Lamachane's having a dream night. He's enjoying bowling on this.
Yeah, brilliant. 2.1 overs, 0 for 4, and he now gets the opportunity to bowl to one of the best players of spin going around at the moment, and straight away beats that outside edge. Quality.
Oh, he's got the reverse, almost. Sompal Kami, he had his hands, he had his fingers on the ball.
Oh, that would have been a stunner as well, wouldn't it? He could grab that one-handed. And for it to have been Klaassen as well. The danger player for South Africa, the man who has been in form.
Yeah, you wonder if Kami could have gone 2 hands in the end. No, maybe not. He had to just get the one hand up there, but that's a big blow for them.
The googly this time, the one that comes back into the pads. It's a subtle change of action. The ball comes out of the back of the hand, not the side. And look at the reverse sweep. Oh, it was a fingertip over the bar. Just 28 meters before it reached that backward point. Well, this has been a perplexing conundrum. But not for the crowd, though. Nepal with their numbers here, and the South Africans, they've travelled thousands of miles to get here to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we've got a real contest on our hands. He's found the edge again. This is outstanding.
You've just got to keep remembering how this is a must-win game for Nepal. They're some way off a chance of the Super 8s, but they lose this match, they know they're definitely out.
Hendricks now, 37 from 40. Time to move on. It's the googly again, finds the inside edge. What another fine over that is from Lamachane. 13 gone, 73 for 2.
4 मात्र दिएछ है कति राम्रो दिन्छ यार यो छक्का चौका दिन्छन् अरु
Sandeep Lamachane making his presence felt. Look at his numbers, 3 overs, 10 dot balls, none for 8. Making waves here at St. Vincent. Seven bowlers used. The numbers are impressive.
8 रन मात्र दियो यार
A high percentage of dot deliveries, dot balls delivered. The tide is very much with Nepal at the moment. How can South Africa change this tide? Birtle again, bowls wide. Hendricks threads it through, but it's only 1.
Yeah, we can see that Nepal have been making waves, as you mentioned, in the T20 World, and you can understand why now. You can see the options they have. The spinners are very accurate. Their faster bowlers aren't very tall, but they're skiddy and they tack the stumps. They're very accurate. And they've asked a lot of questions of the South Africans who've been unable. Just the 8 fours and 1 maximum for the South Africans so far.
Well, Heinrich Klaasen loves batting against spin. That hasn't found the fence, it's found the fielder. Klaasen, hold it! That is a great catch. Karan KC holds on. But the juggler's done well enough because he's got the prize performer.
Well, Klaasen was trying to do what Klaasen has done all year, which is smash the ball out of the park. No one has hit more sixes in world cricket since the start of last year. Hang on. Got it eventually. There will be packed fan parks in Kathmandu who would have been jumping up and then hands on their heads and then in relief to see the bat of Heinrich Klaasen for just 3. South Africa 74 for 3.
The Nepal fans are enjoying what they're watching, and David Miller comes in with a job to do. David Miller has so often been the saviour for South Africa. He's got 2 T20 centuries on his CV, and in the World Cup, 59 not out is best in this tournament. But this is the end of Heinrich Klaasen. He went for that extra cover fence. He knew he hadn't hit it, but he wasn't prepared for this. Why use 2 hands when you can use just 1? Oh, goodness me, Karan KC. If he dropped that, he should have run out the stadium. David Miller gets a wide. Incredibly, David Miller, his top 9 scores over 50, including those 200s, all are not out. How about this? His heart would have been in his mouth. Well caught.
He's the most experienced player in this Nepal side. Had played 68 T20 internationals before the start of this tournament, and he was so casual at the start, wasn't he? He's like, oh, I've got this. Oh, hang on.
Oh, now then, Joel Wilson, what do you think? Will they have a look at this? Yes, Rohit Podal says, I want to have a look at that.
Man, look at that. The head.
See the umpire director, review LBW, on field is not out. Check on his feet, fair delivery, front on first, thanks. Front on coming up.
Out, like it.
That involved. Could I have Ultra Edge next, please, to confirm?
तिरमा लागेछ उसको यार
By Joel. Ultra Edge coming up, flat line, roll it through. Thank you, yeah. There is no bat involved. Ball tracking please when ready. Well, ball tracking coming up now. It's pitching in line, impact in line.
Wicket.
It's his umpire's call. Joel, you'll be staying with your decision is not out. Stand by, we'll get you on screen. You're on screen now, signal, thanks.
You really have to feel for Nepal. That was a wonderful review. Umpires call it's clipping the top of the bails. They cannot believe it. But Joel Wilson had said no, it was not out in his opinion.
Yeah, when it went to the replay, David Miller was gone. When he saw the replay, he thought he was definitely out of there. When it went to the replay, I saw that it was the toppy. And that was why I was interested to see if he was going to turn a misleg stump, and I knew no, it's not. It's going to go straight on. But I suppose the one thing about a toppy is that it obviously gets more bounce than most of the other deliveries. And maybe that's why it's ended up just clipping the top of the bails. But that is a real reprieve. Miller thought his innings was come and gone.
Well, we are in for some dramatic moments. We've had them already, but I think we've got some more to come. Here we go. It's pitched on. It's hit him on the left thigh in front of middle and off. And Joel Wilson, it's umpire's call. He didn't think it was good enough for him to give. They cannot believe it.
David Miller would have been gone for a duck. It's only happened once to him before in T20s in the international scene in what 120 matches he's played.
The end of the over, 14 gone, 77 for 3.
गाली दिन्छ
77 for 3. We've got 6 overs to go. The heart of South Africa's batting has been ripped out. De Kock, Markram, Klaasen. Hendricks is still there, 40 from 43. Miller just still there. Stubbs and Janssen can bat. They only have 6 overs to go against a side which is the youngest squad in this tournament. Only one player is aged over 30. They're all in their 20s, and in fact that's Curran KC. He's only 32. I think he aged 5 years though with that juggled catch. Oh, I was there. She can tell her parents I was there. Hendricks on strike. Here's Bohara, Abinash. Gosh, even the ricochets are going their way.
Nepal have played a lot of cricket in the lead up to this tournament. The Cricket Association of Nepal arranged 40 T20s in 8 months in the lead up. They had West Indies A and Ireland A both touring Nepal for the very first time. There is the coach in the centre, Monty Desai in the glasses.
It's a full toss and he doesn't know where it is. Yeah, they've played a lot of cricket, and South Africa have played the fewest men's T20 internationals between the 2 World Cups. They've only played 11.
In 2024 for Nepal, significant off the back of qualifying for this tournament, being able to pitch to the government for more money. It's that investment enables you to play those matches, to host those tours, to get your team well prepared. And Monty Desai in the lead-up has been talking about also how they've been able to get a proper structure in place in their domestic cup. 7 provinces played against each other, including 3 professional teams. You know, they're a country who are aiming to go a long way in cricket. They want test status eventually. It's a long way to go, but they're putting structures in place.
I'll tell you what, Alison, just watching them play here tonight, they're certainly not out of place against South Africa here. Abinash Bohara, whose best figures in T20 internationals are 6 for 11 against the Maldives last year. That was in Hangzhou in China. Doesn't matter who it's against, you've taken 6 for 11.
I'll coach any team that wants to go tour the Maldives.
I hear there's a tournament taking place in the Cayman Islands. There's a queue of 400 commentators waiting to go into that one. Right, Miller, 1 from 4. What can he do? David Miller. Short, helps it round the corner. Man out there. Something dramatic has got to happen here for South Africa. They're 79 for 3 from 14.5.
I mean, Nepal still have to cope with the fire pace, the likes of Anrik Norkia, but at the moment they are giving themselves every chance of an upset here.
Long on. Fielders are everywhere. They've got him in the right place. 80 for 3, 5 overs to go.
3 रन दियो दामी यसो दिनुपर्छ कि मस्तले
So much of cricket is about adapting to conditions. South Africa flying in from New York, where those conditions were not easy. Coming up against a floodlit game. Can these two now put together a partnership? Can they get on top of these spinning, turning conditions? Hendricks 42 from 47 so far. He is absolutely the mainstay for South Africa right now.
Off spin of Airy. There's the Prime Minister. He was here yesterday, Ralph Gonsalves.
Well, he, Brian, has overseen the development of this government money, 38 billion. Very proud of the stadium.
Love these shirts. That was a good shirt. And that's not a joke, honestly. I do like that shirt.
I was dancing in the stands yesterday. There's the St. Vincent flag, the green V in the centre.
Up in the air. Airy's under it, and he takes the catch.
Oh,
Hendricks goes, and further problems for South Africa. It was a shot of frustration in the end from Reza Hendricks. He simply hasn't found any fluency this evening.
A little bit of a quicker ball. You can actually see how it stops and bounces. Simple catch by Airy. Reza Hendricks' innings comes to an end. He's tried real hard. South Africa haven't really gone anywhere so far. Hendricks has gone for 43. South Africa are now 82 for 4.
And now 10 in the tournament so far. He played in all 3 matches in the Caribbean in Jamaica, a series that preceded this tournament, 4, 41 and 19 on that occasion. Markram then. Plenty to reflect upon for him and for South Africa so far, because it's been hard going.
Bowlers have been on the mark and on the money. Not a lot of freebies have been on offer for the South African batters right now, and when you're struggling with a little bit of form, what you want is a couple half volleys, a couple wide cuts, a couple on your legs to get yourself going. It's been fantastic bowling so far. South Africa are 22 for 1 at the end of the 4th.
Airy's been accurate, hasn't he? I mean, he's hovered around, where's he got 87, 100, 101, 104, 88, 95. So he's mixing up his pace as well. But he is not giving away that length. The length has been superb. There's been nothing that's been easy to hit. And South Africa are left trying to communicate in the middle of the overs, trying to say, okay, well, this is what he's on about. This is the variations. This is maybe where we can try and look to attack him.
Yes, the wicket taker, Dipender Airy, he's known for the fact that he hit 6 sixes earlier this year, but he's also a very, very accomplished bowler. He's just bowled the last over, and the next one now is going to be bowled by Karen KC. He replaced Sompal Kami from the airport end.
It's a big moment for him. He gets introduced and they've got some good pressure going. Can he continue? Make sure that his first few deliveries are good. He starts well.
Straight away on the money. Reza Hendricks, his technique has been tested on some of these pitches that the South Africans have played on. Nassau and New York, there was a little bit of movement. A very difficult wicket for a lot of the batters to kind of adjust to technically. Always looking for those scores of 160 to 180, but almost 120 was enough there. Reza Hendricks is now in the Caribbean, hoping that these pitches will be a little bit more flat and allow him to play the more free-flowing cricket that he's familiar with.
Well, we've spoken about Sompal Kami's grip. Let's have a look at it and compare it to Taskin Ahmed.
Yeah, Taskin getting a little bit more of his wrist behind it. You can almost see the seam pointing towards first slip, whereas Sompal Kami's hand is almost at an angle where the seam is pointing towards more of a leg slip. I'm assuming that he was bowling that ball to a left-hander in Quinton de Kock, so that could be half the reason.
Little bit of room given there. Markram moving away. Back to Reza Hendricks, rather, moving away and smashing that ball over backward point.
Yeah, this is one of the few occasions where Reza Hendricks has been able to free those hands, just giving himself a little bit of room, staying leg side of it. You can see him just a foot or so outside that leg stump, trying to open up the offside. The length was good, up and over, cutting across it to make sure it goes airborne. And that's his second boundary. Will this be the catalyst moment where it just frees him up a touch and allows him to pick on the boundaries a bit more often?
Reminder, only 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle in the first 6 overs. That circle demarcated by the dots you can see. It's a lovely shot, first through the offside and then a beautiful piece of timing from the onside. The bowler just trying to adjust and keep his line a little bit tighter, but on that occasion just straight onto the stumps.
Yeah, just dropping point out to the extra cover boundary and then slipping into the legs over there. It's not what your captain wants. Brought up third man, changed the field, and the ball's gone in the exact opposite direction. So just missing out on a little bit of discipline and accuracy there. That's what we were talking about earlier. That's exactly what Reza Hendricks wants. He wants a couple freebies just to get himself going. He's found 2 in the last 2 balls.
You do wonder about that decision, though. I mean, it wasn't a bad delivery that disappeared over backward point, and then straight away, because of the shot that's played, the field's adjusted. And Karen KC thinks, okay, well, now that there's no third man in position, I need to be as straight and tight on the stumps as possible. Hendricks gives himself a little bit of room. He looks to follow and gets whipped through mid-wicket. So that's good cricket from Hendricks, but maybe a knee-jerk reaction from the Nepal team.
Now these are the dismissals that Reza Hendricks had in this World Cup so far, all the balls that he's actually faced, and you can see these dismissals have basically been on the stumps, so the Nepal bowlers may have done a little bit of their homework and have tried to target those stumps. This is against the Netherlands. What a wonderful ball, just a little bit of movement away, and that just clipped the top of the bails. It's exactly what every seamer wants. Logan van Beek with a fantastic delivery. He'll save that ball, put that on his phone, watch it every time he's on the telephone. Welcome's a good shot off the back foot. And that's the end of the over. South Africa 31 for 1 off the 5.
Must change chairs.
South Africa making one change to their side today. No Keshav Maharaj, and in comes Tabreh Shamsi. And another new bowler for Nepal. 1 over left in this power play. Magnificent sight. This stadium lit up for the first time in this World Cup. Brand new floodlights put in for this tournament. And Kushal Malla with some left arm spin. Using that angle to work the single.
Yeah, the same surface that was used yesterday, so a few little small running repairs overnight. Plenty of preparation. Right yesterday we saw him in picture with bowling coach for South Africa, Eric Simons.
This whole square has been relayed as part of the $38 million refurbishment of this ground. Oh, that's a great bit of fielding. And Nepal do pride themselves. The captain leading the way. And it's those 1%ers, isn't it? Saving runs. Great work inside the circle.
Making sure that the pressure stays on the South African captain. Markham's been there for 4 deliveries. Would love to just get off the mark.
Looking increasingly uncomfortable.
Yeah, when you see this happening so early in a match, then you have that's doubt in the batter's mind. What's the next ball going to do?
Yeah, Kushal Mali and Airy are not the tallest individuals. That's why maybe if they do hit a length with the slightly round arm action, it tends to stay down just a touch.
These are the brand new floodlights I mentioned, all LEDs to be ecologically friendly. Change in the field here with mid-off coming up and mid-on pushing back onto the fence. 2 more balls left in the over.
Reza Hendricks was looking to give himself some room on the first delivery of the over, following suit with a similar kind of approach the next time he's on strike. In the arc out the park, yes, that's what they want. And Miller time, that's David Miller, the left-hander who will come a little bit later.
Nepal fan base, always so colourful. That's racing away. Ending the power play with a boundary. And it is South Africa's best power play of their tournament so far. 6 over mark, 38 for 1.
You're not the right length on this kind of a surface. Too much time, and he goes back and crashes it. Score of the wicket. Picks up the gap and picks up the boundary to finish the over.
It is carnival time. It's also the end of the power play and the introduction of Nepal's star leg spinner. Sandeep Lamachane has not played since he took part in the Nepal Pro Club Championship at the end of December.
Have a look at those facts and figures. 98 wickets, economy rate of 6.3.
Wow.
And has he been out of the game for how long, Ali? No, he's back on the mark.
What a start. What a lovely start this is from Sandeep Lamachane. Have a look at this. Stern square. Beats him.
I remember we saw Rishad Hossain for Bangladesh take 3 wickets in 4 balls with his leg spin. And this is a wonderful start by Lamachane. The turn is there. And he's deceiving Hendricks. He is ripping it.
I'm glad in the build-up when you asked him the question whether he'd go right, I said yes, because he's looking more than accomplished out there in his first 2 deliveries.
His captain said that, yes, although he hasn't been playing match cricket, of course, he has been practicing. And he's been out in the Caribbean a little bit earlier before the rest of the team flew in from the USA.
He's represented 6 franchise leagues all around the world, Sandeep Lamachane.
Well, this is a challenging period now for both of these batters. This is the difference that Lamachane makes out the back of the hand.
Yeah, overall economy in T20 International is 6.29, but in the Caribbean it's 5.8.
Can he get a wicket in his opening over? Because you feel he's getting closer.
Yeah, they maybe considered sending it upstairs, but it tends to reflect that Markram probably not sure what the variations are or picking them. It's invariably when you see a batter go to the reverse sweep that early, it means that it's kind of the get out of jail shot and something to try and release the pressure that you're feeling. But those facts and figures are impressive from Lamachane.
Well, it's been a fabulous reintroduction to international cricket. Just the 2 singles off the opening over from Lamachane. 40 for 1. The fledgling partnership of 18 off 20 balls between these two after the loss of Quinton de Kock. He was out for 10. Well, you might wonder about the rhino, but it is one of the national symbols of Nepal, a symbol of national pride. The peaks on the flag represent the peaks of Mount Everest, and then the one-horned rhino. You see the national flag on the shoulders of these World Cup strips as well. Phil Spin could play a major part in this match. Dale Steyn, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. And I was on just a couple overs ago, and the bowling's been tough. No joke. I think the South Africans were hoping that there would be a couple loose balls, but this has been the most turn we've seen at 3.1. It's powerfully hit by Reza Hendricks and just beaten the long off boundary. It was a wonderful shot off the back foot. Hopefully this is the start that South Africa need just to kick on, because Nepal bowlers have been fantastic so far.
Yeah, once again it's on the shorter side. It gives enough for the batter to go onto the back foot and place it to perfection to pick up that boundary. There was a fielder read long off, but he had no chance whatsoever because it struck it very nicely.
Yeah, Anil Saar did his best to try and cut it off.
And Reza Hendricks being out there for 23 balls now, you'd want him to kind of bat on for a couple more overs just to find some form and keep this innings going.
Dropped short, hit airily, hit hard. And we've got a 6. Ramallah dropping short. Perhaps that'll be the shot that releases the shackles for Hendricks.
Yeah, the first 6 of the innings, again, dragged down like the previous ball, the first ball of the over. Reza Hendricks been out there for 23 balls. He's hit this powerfully. You could call it a chance, but I don't think so. That was way too powerfully hit.
Yeah, good luck on Palkami.
It just came so quickly. And this is exactly what South Africa needed right now.
Brings up the 50 for South Africa. And we're talking about spin, and Dale noting that this pitch has offered more turn than any other in the tournament. The spinners yesterday when Bangladesh played during the day took 7 wickets at an average of 15. The 6 wickets that fell to seam went at an average of 29. That's better than Malak. So a bigger over for South Africa. 11 off it, 51 for 1. South Africa got what they wanted in terms of the toss, didn't they? They didn't win it, but the captain said he would have had a bat anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly what South Africa wanted. They wanted their top order to get out there and bat for 12 to 14 overs and let the middle order, their powerful middle order, do the work at the back end. Hendricks just starting to kick on now with 27 off 26, and Markram's fresh to the crease, but they got their hands full. Sandeep Lamachane, he bowled a fantastic first over, and we're about to see him bowl his second.
Long chaser coming from the deep.
That is their first over. Look at the first delivery, 6.8 degrees, 7.5. They bowled beautifully. And it'll be important that it continue in the same fashion. Otherwise, South Africa is going to pick a really big total here.
He's showing us all his variations. He showed them through his first over as well.
Yeah, and, you can see the amount of turn that he's getting compared to the rest of the Nepal bowlers, but also the experience. He just knows how to change his pace, when to bowl his googly. He keeps foxing the South African batters almost with every delivery, just slowing it up there a little bit. Here's Hendricks trying to play a big sweep. The turn is too much.
How do you cope with this sort of turn, Atta?
It's not easy. It's not easy because it's gripping, it's turning, and the odd one will also keep a little bit low. That's a wrong one. Inside edge could have all dragged it onto the stumps. Remember, the top four from South Africa in this tournament, in the ICC Men's T20 World Cup, hasn't had a good day with the bat, apart from Klaasen, who smashed 46 against Bangladesh. So it's still... Nepal would be hoping the discussion in the dressing room would have been, okay, the top four not among the runs, let's pick up wickets.
Lamachane, for all his experience, 53 T20 internationals, just 7 of those have come against full member teams. He's on the cusp of 100 T20 international wickets. I'm sure he would love to get it against a calibre of opposition such as South Africa. 53 for 1. Well, this is a must-win match for Nepal if they'd have any chance of challenging for the Super 8s. Bangladesh put themselves in pole position with victory over the Netherlands yesterday. South Africa already through. Sri Lanka can't qualify. And South Africa in the Super 8s, they're now going to have USA as one of their opponents because they secured their spot. West Indies also in that same Super 8 group, and either England or Scotland. Leg spin from Kushal Birtle. Birtle made his international debut in 2021, 43 T20 internationals. And that is our first Dhaka Topi hat. The gentleman in the middle wearing traditional dress of Nepal. Spin again, causing problems.
Yeah, the first one really thrown up under 80 kilometers an hour, tossed up. And one of the first times that Aiden Markram's eyes must have lit up and thought to himself, if I get anything of this, he could find himself a boundary. There has been a bit of turn tonight. There's been some spin, but there could also be a little bit of guesswork going on right now. When you talk about Sandeep Lamachane, it's leg spin, googly, leg spin. He rushes the over. There's a lot of spin going on, but I also feel that the South Africans might not know exactly when that googly comes. And when he bowls an over that doesn't go for many runs, you almost feel you have to take on the next over.
That is the pressure that a quality spinner builds. Might not always be that particular bowler that takes the wickets, but they can come at the other end with the desperation to try and turn that scoreboard over.
Yeah, Markram now 9 of 15 deliveries is still getting into the stride to find ways to pick up runs. Again, a dot.
Well, credit to Nepal and the way they've been going about their business with the ball so far.
Yeah, and they're rushing the South Africans too. Before you know it, you're 15, 16 balls down. You're not really ticking that score rate over. It's been fantastic bowling.
Halfway stage here, drinks are going to be brought out. South Africa 57 for 1.
South Africa against Nepal here in this Group D match, where Nepal have really enjoyed the first 10 overs of this contest. 57 for 1, and Nepal's bowlers have really had the ascendancy. Look at some of these numbers. Bendra Singh Airy 1 for 12 in 2, but Lamachane is spinning a weave of knots here. We're here at Unleash on Nepal, and it's coming up to 7 o'clock in the morning in Nepal. Are you watching, all of you in Kathmandu, in Kirtipur? A dramatic night here could unfold for the warriors of Nepal, because they have bowled and fielded as if their lives depended on it. And we have a contest. Nepal are chasing 116. And of course they still are very much in contention for qualifying from Group D. South Africa have won 3 from 3, but if Nepal pick up 2 points tonight, they're above the Netherlands. And then on Sunday night they play Bangladesh here. Bit of swing from Janssen.
Yeah, Wilco, you talk about the people of Nepal at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's 3 or 3:15 in the morning in South Africa, and I think a lot of the South Africans will be glad they didn't stay up to watch that batting performance, because it wasn't the best. But they've got 115 on the board, and they've got to make it count. They've got to make every run very difficult to accumulate for Nepal. They will extract a lot of bounce, and they'll get the spin of Shamsi and probably Markham to get the ball to hold up and turn. But they really will have to deliver here now, the South Africans.
Seriously tall is Marco Janssen. He's way over 2 meters. He could probably have to duck going through a door in the hotel. Bangladesh here on Sunday night. This is Nepal. That's what they've got. They've got to get tonight done first. Tonight is the business for Nepal. They've had some wonderful nights in Kirtipur, which is just about 5 k's from the city of Kathmandu, but this could be one of their greatest. Oh, he drags it inside edge. It beats Quinton de Kock, and it's gone for 4.
Just the start Nepal want. Bertel, fresh off taking a couple of wickets, has walked out and he's played the straight drive behind the wicketkeeper. Still in the V, Wilco. And they'll take any runs they can to try and knock off this total. Will Nepal?
Yeah, similar. South Africa's first boundary came in a similar vein. It was Quinton de Kock who got an inside edge and went away to the fence. Oh, the right-handed Bertel being the man who gets the inside edge.
Herschel Bertel has a century on his CB in T20 eyes. Swing again from Marco Jansen. That's the shape that the left arm pace bowler wants. The ball coming back into the pads of the right-hander. That century was against the Philippines in Muscat in 2022. He's also got 950s. Otniel Bartman bowls medium fast. Could be a key component for South Africa tonight. They've got Anrich Nochir, Kagiso Rabada.
Stubbs is off the field at the moment. He was the last man at the crease, so maybe just taking a little bit extra time to get on. Ryan Rickleton is the 12th man. He's doing fielding in the first over.
This field has got a leg slip and an orthodox slip. Asif Sheikh is the young batter for Nepal. He's just 22 years of age. First over's gone, 6 on the board.
Wide rate of 5.79 to the over, and they've started pretty well. 6 without loss.
Well, some of the Nepal fans, they have supported, and a very pensive and reflective Roddy Istwick. Roddy Istwick has been the West Indies bowling coach, a wonderful cricketer in his time, and here he is helping Nepal in this T20 World Cup campaign. Right, Anrich Nochir needs 3 wickets for the most wickets for South Africa in this tournament. Here's Kagiso, KG. He'll slip a couple past the right-handers. He gets that natural shape, and it looks so easy. Yeah, just a couple of milestones. Herschel Bertel needs 4 sixes. Goodness me, they'll be handy if he hits 4 tonight for 50. Quinton de Kock needs 3 dismissals for 100 in T20 eyes. Struggled tonight with the bat, Quinton. He really did. It's a pitch where you've got to work hard every ball and work things out, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And what would serve South Africa well is that they've just come off probably the most difficult wickets they would have played on in a long time in Nassau and New York. So they know how to defend low totals. They've been involved in a bunch of smaller scoring games.
Oh, it's good shape again, and I like this. Maybe South Africa might consider putting a second slip for this over. The ball is brand new.
Yeah, the extra cover man could come out just for an over or 2, or ball or 2 I should say. In this version of the game is shortened. You don't really have a lot of a time to attack, so you use 1 or 2 balls. The second slip might be an area that KG could be interested in.
Well, now he's running away from it, not because he's scared, but he's trying to find a method here to deal with this bouncing delivery.
Yeah, also the shape from Kagiso Rabada. We haven't really seen much of that throughout the tournament. He's not a massive exponent of swing bowling, KG, but is getting the ball to move tonight. There's a breeze that's coming over his right shoulder that's maybe assisting that movement through the air. But he is beating the bat and trying to bring that slip Corden and Quinton de Kock into play.
It's gone straight up in the air. Kagiso says, I'll take it, I'll have it. Oh my goodness. Kagiso on a night of errors. There's another one for South Africa.
Yeah, that would have been the perfect start for Rabada. 4 dot deliveries. He would have had his 5th plus a wicket. It did steeple up in the air. I think it's gone almost as high as the pylons here at the ground. And he called early. He said, my ball. He tried to set himself, but was just moving at that last point. Actually barely gets his hands on it. Goes between the hands and makes contact with the chest or the stomach. Unfortunately for South Africa, that's not the first.
This time slashes him over cover point for 4 to add injury to insult. 2 overs gone, 10 for no wicket.
Yeah, that's nicely played. And Rabada will be fuming. He could have had with one delivery to go bowling and a new batter. Instead, the catch goes down and he offers up a little bit of width and he goes away to the fence.
On the board, here's Marco Jansen. Oh, beautiful shape, great shape. Marco Jansen, not just that he's swinging it, but he's so tall, you have to work out bounce and swing.
And something that might just work against him, to be honest with you. He has the drop. As we look at KG, he called early, he said, my ball, please. And then hardly laid a hand on it. This has gone straight down. His hands have missed it, closed too late. Hits the chest. It did go a mile in the sky. But at this level, you'd expect those to be caught.
Oh. Well, that off stump is very much in focus for Marco Jansen here. He's swinging the ball back extravagantly here.
Yeah, this is what Marco Jansen does really well. Just brings the ball back into the right-handers, and with his extra height, he does get that extra bit of bounce, so he might have to go a touch fuller than he's accustomed to. And with the extra bounce that this wicket has got, it might just serve against him tonight a little bit, but he's got those guys in catching positions. He's got a leg slip and a first slip. He could use those fielders really well.
Well, the preparation for these pitches at Arnos Vale has been over a decade since we've had international cricket here, but a lot of time and money and effort has been spent on these pitches. And tonight it was a challenge for the Proteas. Oh, that's a great take. Quinton de Kock.
Yeah, Berton went early there, and I think that caused the adjustment from Marco Jansen. He's been really good. He's gone for 6 runs, but was one fortunate boundary. That's the bounce he expresses. Quinton de Kock having to climb the ladder to make sure he got a mitt on that one.
A couple of changes going on in the field here. There's arms waving everywhere. Heinrich Klaasen is at leg slip, and Aidan Markram's at mid-off. So Heinrich Klaasen he's trying to say to Aidan, we have to move someone else here.
Yeah, the idea was to bring fine leg up and put Kakita Rabada at a short 45 and square leg back, but I think they forgot that Heinrich Klaasen was at leg slip. So you don't want 2 people, one leg slip and one leg gully. And they decided to go back to the normal strategy.
Well bowled, he's going to find that edge soon. You feel that something's going to happen. He's gone through that defense so many times of Birtle.
They like to have a leg slip for Marco Jansen because of the balance he extracts out of most surfaces, and we've seen in test matches, one-day internationals, he often gets people caught down the leg side, either to the keeper or in that leg slip position. But as I say that, they decide to move him out, and they have gone back to the field where square leg is back on the fence. Rabada comes into short 45, and there's a man at short mid-wicket who's very square. That's Hendrik Klaasen.
This time he goes for the ramp and he gets 4. He gets 6. It's 6 all the way for Birtle. 3 gone, 16 for no wicket.
This is brilliant. This is a real cricket awareness. They go to change the field and he just banks on the fact that Jansen probably won't go full, probably won't try and hit his stumps. He goes across early and executes brilliantly. 65 meters, in no danger there whatsoever, in full control. And Nepal have got themselves to 16 without any damage.
For no wicket. That was exactly what South Africa were after 3 overs. We're going to see Otniel Bartman, who's a recent selection in this South African side.
There's his figures: 4 matches, 5 wickets. He got 4 for 11 in his first encounter in New York. A brilliant performance by him.
Ooh, it's close, but it might be going down. Just did a bit, yeah. You see Otniel Bartman just saying, do you think it went down? Missing leg stump.
Yeah, probably the one South African bowler that will challenge the stumps. He's going to pitch it up. His natural length is to hit the top of off stump, which I think will make it difficult for the Nepalese batters. And this is the 6 from the last over. South Africa changing the field. Probably not really having to change the field, to be honest with you, but they changed it anyway. Brought fine leg up, and there was a fantastic shot by Birtle to go for 6.
It's leg side. It's gone down that leg side from Bartman. Yeah, 4 for 11 against the Netherlands, Sean, on that difficult pitch just on June the 7th.
Yeah, our local competition, the SA20, he was brilliant and really forced his way into the team. Dale, what were you chatting to him about? Any advice or just catching up?
I was asking him if we went snorkeling, and he said he's not really a good swimmer. So I said to him, don't worry, you can wear a life jacket. It's basically the conversation that we're having over there. But I also did say that if he continues bowling the way that he bowls, it's a beautiful delivery, that South Africa could consider him one day as a test bowler, because I think that the lengths that he bowls and the lines that he bowls, he's always challenging the stumps. And you can see his length is generally a slightly fuller length to all the others, Bartman being the fullest of all of the bowlers so far. Nokia deciding to bowl shorter. He's wanted to bowl more aggressively this tournament, and it's worked well for him, so I'm excited to see what he'll do tonight. But Bartman right now is the challenge for the Nepal batters. Great shot.
Goodness, that's a good shot. He has picked up Bartman here with such ease.
Yeah, there's been a few planned misses and balls missing the inside edge, outside edge, nearly being tracked in front, but in between that there's been some fantastic shots by this opening pair. And there's another example. See if getting into position early and just using his wrist, whooping it away, one bounce and into the boundary. Takes it off, I think. Off stump, might have made contact with the top of off, so nothing really wrong with that delivery. Just a fantastic shot.
Again, look at that movement that Bartman is getting here off the pitch. You can just see the release points. Naturally, Marco Jansen is way over the 2-meter mark because he's the tallest of the lot. Rabada, again, Nokia just dips a little bit. And Bartman, that's the release points of the South African seamers to contend with that different bounce that Dale Steyn has been talking about. Looks to make a bit of room, can't get the run. 4 gone, 20 for no wicket. Here at Arnos Vale, it's St. Vincent and the Grenadines, South Africa, who have qualified for the Super 8s, the second round, but they've been reduced to 115 for 7. And Nepal have made a great start. They're chasing 116. Could be a big party night tonight. Oh, it's party time. They're primed. They're dressed for the occasion. Could be Nepal's night. Janssen. Well, that's fortuitous, but it's runs. It's a difficult pitch to Ballon. It's a difficult pitch for the Cock.
Yeah, Nepal will be counting down every run. It doesn't matter how it comes. Inside edge, outside edge, buys. Look at that. That ball, it pitched and the seam just stayed up. Similar to the way that a Duke would do in England in a test match. Makes it really difficult as a wicketkeeper. But Nepal won't moan. They'll take every run they can.
Bold. Now, virtually every ball that Marco Jansen has bowled has been an in-swinger to the right-hander. But have a look at this field here. He's got a first slip, Reza Hendricks, and then he's got a gully, almost like a backward point and a point. You've got 4 fielders and a third, 5 behind square offside. Klaassen, he's in that gully position. Slightly surprised, and that's because he's been swinging it into the right-hander. Now that field would suggest it's going to maybe change his trajectory.
Just the extra bounce that Marco Jansen gets. You would think that if the Nepalese batters decide to have a hoik or go at it, the ball might go in that area. Very difficult to hit Marco Jansen with his bounce over square leg, so I think it's important that he keeps square leg up and fine leg back.
Oh, he followed him. He saw him backing away, and Jansen just followed Bertel. Well, Nepal have never beaten a full member nation in international cricket. They did beat Afghanistan in 2014, but at that time Afghanistan didn't have test status. So could they be here on the brink of an historic night in this World Cup? 50% win percentage in the World Cup for Nepal. Asif Sheikh on strike. Flicks it round leg side and he'll get one. As for the South Africans, Sean, they got so much bowling.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they haven't introduced Nokia as yet, and then he'll have a big impact. You would think Shamsi, from what we saw from the Nepal bowlers, that they will definitely get some assistance and purchase. They've got the option of Aiden Markram to bowl some off spin. But they would love an early wicket just to try and settle things down.
No run there, not through that cauldron. 5 overs gone, Nepal, 26 for no wicket.
A runner ball for Nepal will get them home. Good take again from Quinton de Kock. The one short ball for the over.
It's a good start. It's a good reply from Nepal. Don't forget that, yes, there was an opportunity for South Africa to pick up a wicket. Kagiso Rabada calling it for the for the catch and not even laying a hand close to the ball.
It's a lovely pick-up off his toes by Asif Sheikh. It's good batting.
Wonderful shot here. Bartman just straying a little bit in his line, going a bit straight here. Getting rid of his bounce of the first ball. Great shot off his legs. And every run, Nepal, they believe more. The game is in the balance. South Africa are desperate for a wicket, but this is a great little opening stand for Nepal right now.
Where is it going to come from, the wickets? Who's going to be the one to pick up the first one?
Lovely shot up on his toes by Asif Sheikh.
It's probably one area where South Africa can look to remove a fielder is in that extra cover area. With the extra bounce and the length that they bowl, it's difficult to hit the ball through extra cover, whereas right now Nepal batters are getting inside the line, using the pace of the ball. They can use potentially an extra man on the leg side. Some of the fans are not enjoying it as much as others.
They've run a leg by. Bartman was convinced it was LBW, but it looked a bit high to me, and Joel Wilson agrees. Well, there's Nixon McLean, the former West Indies fast bowler, who ended up batting left-handed in his cricketing days. And the reason he batted left-handed was that when he was young, he used to bat right-handed, and all the windows were on the leg side. So he switched round to bat left-handed so he wouldn't end up hitting the ball against the windows.
I'm just wondering when Markram is going to introduce spin here. We haven't seen spin so far. And we've seen what spinners did when South Africa were batting. Perhaps they could have introduced someone like Tabriz Shamsi earlier on inside the power play, because there's only one delivery left in this over, which will complete the power play. And if they don't pick up a wicket, they're well placed, Nepal.
Scampered single, it's the end of the power play. Nepal on target at the moment, 32 without loss. Of course, we have to remember that if South Africa do lose tonight, it doesn't affect them qualifying for the next stage, but it'll be mighty embarrassing if they do go down to defeat, I'm sure.
Yeah, and they haven't exactly gotten their batters off to the start that they would like right now. Every batter that I've seen in the top order of the South African lineup, if they get out, they kind of look at the pitch as if to say, when is things going to turn in my way? And hopefully, regardless of this game, by the time they get to Antigua, things will start to settle more in the batter's favour. But the bowlers have really enjoyed it so far, and South Africa's batting has been the struggle that they've had so far this tournament.
Key moment in this match, you feel now. Anrich Nortje into the attack, the extra pace that he can provide. Now, in April and May, Nepal played against West Indies A, and they did play against some extra pace. Obaid McCoy, O'Shane Thomas were playing. This was Nepal's effort during the power play, a very solid one too.
Yeah, I mentioned about the spinners, Delston. Remember, Kashyap Maharaj is not in the 11. So it's important that whenever you pick up a side, then you got to find the bowlers to do the job that they've been asked for.
I like this change of field by South Africa. They've got basically a backstop. Marco Jansen, this is a look at the batting so far in the power play. Nepal were 32 without loss after that first 6, and this is the one opportunity South Africa needed. Drop catch by KG, the very next ball slashed over extra cover for 4, and that was a great shot by Birtle, using the pace of extra bounce of Marco Jansen. It's a fantastic opening partnership right now, and every run that they score, they put South Africa under pressure. Now there's an interesting field placement that we've got. We've got Marco Jansen essentially as a backstop. He'd be in a catching position, I would say. And one of the things that works in the bowler's favor, having this particular field against a team like Nepal, is because they're not familiar with the pace. They might be thinking, what is coming? What is Anrich Nortje going to do? Is it the short ball? Is it a length ball? Is it a Yorker? What is he going to do to utilize Marco Jansen at backup? And just actually foxing the batter and bluffing him with a slower ball, not even having a mid-on right now. Mid-on is almost in a half mid-on, half mid-wicket kind of position. And this looks to play a little bit with the batter's mind. This is Anrich Nortje, the most wickets for South Africa so far in this World Cup with 8. Faisalak Faruqi has been fantastic for Afghanistan with 12.
And Nortje just 2 wickets away from equaling Dale Steyn for most wickets in a T20 World Cup for South Africa. Have a look at this for pace. These are average speeds. Goodness me, lots of deliveries above 145 kilometres an hour. Great to see him back fit and firing. He had a tough time at the IPL, and that was after a long period out through injury. It's off the glove, and there's Marco Jansen into play. The end of the over, a fiery one, 34 without loss.
Yeah, I think the South African bowlers will need to realize that they need to test them with some short pitch deliveries. Give them some chin music. Because they do struggle. We saw Bangladesh struggling against short pitch deliveries.
A few smiles there among South African supporters and family. And now South Africa's top wicket taker in 2020 internationals into the attack. Tabraiz Shamsi, it's his first game of the tournament. 78 wickets he's taken in total.
Yeah, Mergers, they're going to introduce Shamsi, but from what we saw in the first innings, you would think he would go really well because of his turn. It was difficult to read. It was bouncing and gripping. But then in saying that, Nepal have grown up playing spin, haven't they? I mean, so you would think that they'd be more comfortable against the likes of Shamsi than they would against the fast bowlers. But I suppose time will tell. It's going to be a vital introduction, this.
South Africa in between overs there, just got their first warning this evening for taking more than 60 seconds between overs. And a reminder that if they do that on 3 occasions, on that 3rd occasion, they'll be penalised 5 penalty runs. We saw that in the USA-India game.
Yeah!
Bowled! Shamsi strikes with just his 2nd ball. Kushal Birtle tried to improvise, and it's been the death of him.
Yeah, you do wonder if this was the right option. I haven't seen much of Birtle, so I don't know if this is a strength of his, but he got 13 of 21 deliveries and thought he could just thread it through. He gets the inside, drags it onto his own stump, so maybe he'll class himself as unlucky. But we were saying it's going to be a big moment with the introduction of South Africa's spinner, and it's proved to be exactly that. 2 deliveries in, Shamsi's picked up his first. Birtle goes for 13, 35 for 1.
Captain Rohit Podal in at number 3. His highest score there, 61. That was against Mongolia in the Asian Games in September of last year in China. What can he produce this evening? He's their star batter, and this is the reason why he's here.
No, bad option. Not the right one, trying to play the reverse, dragging it back onto the stumps.
Bowled! That's a big wicket. Not a great shot, you have to say. But all of a sudden, Tabriz Shamsi is turning this match on its head.
Well, I did mention earlier on that South Africa needs to introduce Tabriz Shamsi as quickly as possible. And would you believe it? He's picked up not one, but he's now picked up a second wicket in his very first over. Bit of a turn. Big expansive drive through the offside. Creates that gap between the bat and the pad. The skipper goes. Rohit goes for naught. It's 35 for 2.
Anil Shah, the new batsman. All 9 wickets in this match now have fallen to spin.
Yeah, Murgaji gave him a nice big build-up, but unfortunately that was kind of a loose shot, wasn't it, in his second delivery. It was kind of a no-man's area shot. He wasn't forward, wasn't back, wasn't playing with a straight bat or a horizontal bat. He was just trying to force the issue, and he's got time. He can have a look, get himself in, but not to be for the captain.
Beautifully timed shot by Shah to get off the mark. He'll keep the strike. Nepal 36 for 2.
Yeah, in the build-up to the World Cup, there was a lot of talk about some of the surfaces that you'd get in the West Indies and how they could be conducive to spin bowling. India ended up picking 4 in their squad, thinking that that would be the case. And we've seen an example of what spin can do in the Caribbean here this evening. As you mentioned, 9 of the wickets that have fallen have all gone to spin. So will we see Aiden Markram introduce himself? Probably can't be long around the corner before he has a look, even if it's just for an over.
Promising start for Nepal in that last over. Double wicket blow set them back on their heels. Shah back on his heels there as well, forced back by the pace of Nokia.
Yes, a disappointing aspect for Nepal is that once their openers put on 35 without losing a wicket, they lost one, and all of a sudden the skipper comes in and played that really poor shot selection, trying to drive through the offside on the square of the wicket of a ball which is turning into the right-hander. Not the right option.
Bunted into the onside and timed pretty well, actually. I thought initially he just clothed it, but no, that was a terrific shot.
Yeah, it was indeed from Shah. He was absolutely brilliant. Got into position early. I mean, it's pretty predictable, the game plan from the South Africans. It's going to be back of a length or shorter than that. Aiden Markram, who was in the leg mid-wicket short area, wasn't anywhere near straight. So there's nothing that's going to be over-pitched in order to be hit straight down the ground. He was onto it in a flash and beautifully executed.
Let's have a look at those 2 wickets in the last over.
The first one trying to play the reverse, and that was a poor shot. The skipper, one who's been among the runs in the recent past. And if you want to see a short ball bowled to a batter, I think he needs to just get it a little bit higher, because the last time when he bowled a short ball, it was waist high. So it's easy for the batter to pull it or hook it.
Anil Saab made his T20 international debut for Nepal back in 2018 at Lord's against the Netherlands, but then he had to wait another 6 years before he got another opportunity in this format. He's been selected off the back of a strong performance in one-day international cricket, including an unbeaten 100 against Canada. As you can see, very much in its infancy, his T20I career. That's quick, and that's hurt.
Yeah, look at the speeds of the 149, 146, 149, and then that wonderful slow ball out the back of the hand. The delivery before from Nortje was at 117, and then this last one 145. So he's got some gas, and he's got the ability to rush any batter in world cricket, as Andrik Nortje. You would just be hoping that at some stage here this evening it rewards him with a wicket.
Slower ball down the leg side as well. It's a joy to see Nortje doing as well as this, because he really did it tough in the IPL. He went all round India, not only travelling with his team but also with the ball. He's only conceded 3 boundaries in this entire tournament so far.
Yeah, he really struggled. He was out for a long period with a stress fracture of the back, so only really reintroduced himself into competitive cricket in the IPL. And as you say, there was a few experiences he would have rather not been part of, but the length that he's bowled, particularly in New York, was very effective, and there's an example of a quick delivery to end. 42 for 2.
Well, there are 30 million people in Nepal. I'm sure most of them are awake at the moment watching this coverage. The ones who are not in Nepal have made their way here to St Vincent and the Grenadines. That's a wide. Just wondering, gentlemen, what you make of the South African body language out on the field at the moment.
Yeah, I think they're up for it. Nepal kind of let themselves down a little bit with some of their fielding, but in general, South Africa have been up for it just with that drop catch from Kahisa Rabada. It did steeple into the air, so it can be a difficult one to take. But I think they understand the importance. They're getting in tight, they're squeezing, make sure there's no easy singles.
Gosh, that was very full to sweep, and in the end, massive shake just managed to get some bat on it.
Yeah, he'll be difficult to pick for the Nepali batters. Again, so close. Could have created that gap between the bat and the pad. It's got a leg slip in place also, because the ball is turning into the right-hander.
Towards long on, Janssen the fielder.
the fall of that second wicket, the runs have dried up. They've not managed to pick up a boundary there, and also not really looking to rotate strike.
Asking rate to start has now gone up to 6.79, and it is about rotating the strike. They're 47 for 2. South Africa were 56 for 1 at this point.
Just the single, the end of the over. 10 overs have gone. That'll be drinks. Nepal 48 for 2.
Well, a huge game unfolding here for Nepal, with South Africa stuttering their way to 115 for 7. All 7 wickets gone to spin. And for Nepal, well, they got off to a bright start using the pace of the South African quicks. The introduction of Tabraiz Shamsi is what brought those 2 wickets. Nepal, remember, have never beaten a test nation in any form of cricket. They're looking to keep alive their Super 8 hopes. Right, let's take you to a magic moment. South Africa have had a difficult time with the bat today. Go back to 2014, they were given a scare by the Netherlands.
There's a little nick there, yes there was. Oh, was there a little feather on that? Yes there was. Oh, he has got 5 for. That's the best figures in this ICC World 2020.
Carved away, is it for 4? Now they'll have another look at that. Did it hit the sponge?
Yeah, I don't think it made contact with the sponge, but I think when Shamsi did the second parry back into the ground, I think his one hand might have been touching the boundary cushion. He's fine there initially, but it's the next one when his hand is touching and then he just tries to scoop it back in. And I think that's 4. His hand is basically over the line to where the initial line was. But we'll have to wait and see what the third umpire thinks.
Nepal fans bated breath, but it is the boundary for them. Chasing these runs, they need more than 6.5 and over. going back to that match we saw Dale Steyn, you were one of those wickets that Hassan Malik took 5 for 19 in that game against the Netherlands.
Yeah, they gave us a skin. Honestly, I feel like that's the game that started South Africa's rivalry with the Netherlands. We just got over the line with that game, winning by 6 runs. I actually dropped the catch when they were 9 down at Cow Corner, and I thought we had lost it, and I think Baron Hendricks picked up the wicket to win us the game.
Looking to try and loft it up and over. Yeah, Netherlands just falling short on that occasion. 139 all out they finished.
I feel like it would be a similar situation with Nepal tonight. I felt that night, Netherlands, they hadn't won a lot of cricket games before, and when it came down to the crunch, could they get over the line? They fell just short, and Nepal sitting in a similar situation tonight with a game where they can win. Can they get the last few runs against the South African bowling lineup?
Lofted, safe. Nobody out there. Perfect placement. Tell you what, it is rare to see Nortje go for boundaries in this tournament.
Yeah, Saar plays this brilliantly, and the field that's set would tend to suggest he's not going to try and bowl any full deliveries. Markram at mid-wicket there is the only man who's in front of square on the leg side. There's no mid-on or long-on in position, so if he does get too full, too straight, he can just be helped on his way. And you can see the frustration, the disappointment at the length of the delivery and the fact that it was put away.
He's picked up 8 wickets across the tournament before this match. This is the first game where he's gone, well, where he's conceded more than 1 boundary. Dipendra Singh, Irie. Three for 21 for Nepal. It was Birtle with his 4 for 19 as well, but he's been such a performer for Nepal, one of their most experienced players. Times Nepal come up against full member nations in international cricket. This is the 12th and yet to win. And they are chasing a spot in Group 1 of the Super 8s. And these are the batters to come. But what can Asif and Saar do? They've got the support of the crowd behind them here, you feel, in St Vincent and the Grenadines. Wide signalled. Dug in too short. It's 11 runs off this over from Nortje. South Africa are not accustomed to this when he is bowling.
Yeah, just the start they wanted after the drinks break. First ball going for a boundary, followed by a wide, and then another boundary. So this is what Nepal need, and they're starting to believe. You just get the feeling the crowd is behind them. There's starting to be a little bit more field changes for the South Africans. It means that they're recognizing they've got a little less runs to play with right now. They've got to be slightly more cautious.
Single to end a really productive over from Nepal's point of view. 12 more for their total in the chase, 60 for 2. Partnership 25 from 24 balls. Yeah, that over's rather spoilt the figures of Anrich Nortje. This is how Group D looks. Could yet be wide open. The chase here is for second place. South Africa are already through. But Bangladesh and Netherlands, well, it felt as if yesterday's match between those two was a crunch one in terms of who would go through alongside South Africa. But if Nepal get the points here, it is wide open. To make some room. So 6 teams are already through, we know that. And it's the spot in Group 1. India, Australia and Afghanistan would be the opponents. Imagine if it is Nepal to get through. Bangladesh and Netherlands still have a say. Up and over, is there plenty on this? The diving attempt comes to nothing. Valuable runs again for Nepal. And Rabada, not much he could do about that.
Yeah, this is a wonderful strike from Sa. They've got KG Rabada positioned quite wide at long off. He's almost like a wideish long off, heading towards the extra cover. He does get his hands to it, but unfortunately can't grab hold of it again. What a quality strike that was.
Nothing on it. What do they think there is? Markham thinking about it. Should Shamsi have been brought into the attack earlier, given the impact that he has had when the pace was on, and Nepal batters were using the pace to good effect. Oh. First of all, let's just see this chance from Rabada. I mean, he covered the ground, Dale Steyn.
Yeah, I almost feel like he slowed down over there just to give himself an ability to launch for the catch. And it's one of those catches that if you do take them, they are absolutely wonderful. Real TV catch. Shamsi throwing that one up and potential chance for 2. I think they'll get that very easily.
So Group 2 as well, England and Scotland, the 2 teams yet to be decided, but the big shock, the shock off the tournament, the qualification of the USA. The boundary save by Norkia. 12 overs gone then, 69 for 2. Now, South Africa weren't convinced there was anything on this. They didn't go for a review. Well, a sound. Even those who are retired still need a little bit of assistance.
Some stress in the coach's shoulders over there, just getting the physio to work it out a little bit. Nepal in a situation where they can win their first real big game, and there was a little edge over here that could have helped South Africa get over the line. Quinny de Kock didn't hear anything. Aiden Markham certainly thought that there was a little sound. And often you just feel like the captain can go with his gut feel. Looked at his wicketkeeper. His wicketkeeper said, "No, thank you." I didn't hear anything.
Hit hard. Could it be saved? No! Should have been saved. South Africa leaking some runs now.
We saw one earlier from Nepal. A little bit of a snake in the field out there. You would think South Africa being a good fielding team. These are the kind of things that you've got covered. KG Rabada coming in. Good shot. Pull. Nothing to it. Tristan Stubbs. Overrun it. Vital run South Africa can't afford to let slip through. But Nepal, they'll be counting every single one of these down.
And they've got that rate back to under 5.5 and over.
Well, I asked the question a bit earlier to Polly and Atta about the body language of the South Africans. It wasn't that I was being critical of them. It was just that I noticed when they came out into the field, there were lots of smiles. They were very positive. I'll tell you what, there's not many smiles out there now.
High. Has he got the distance on it though? It's a long chase back. It's just the one. One long chase back for the captain.
South Africa will feel these little chances not going their way, but you create your own luck. We spoke about the body language of them, maybe feeling that they're already through, that they're playing a little half effort tonight, but that's not the case. You always should be giving your best.
Well, the Nepal fans are up and about after their match against the Netherlands. Shots emerged of fan parks back home in Nepal, and it was like a music festival, like Glastonbury, fans stretching back as far as you could see into the distance. It's early morning in Nepal, and they're dancing into the night here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Oh, that's huge! Out of the park! It's one for the airport. Nepal are charging. The Rhinos becoming rampant.
That is a huge hit. We haven't seen a lot of sixes tonight, but that is out of the middle of the bat and out of the park. What a shot. KG Rabada coming back for his second over. And Nepal have said, we'll have a bit of you, KG Rabada. Thank you very much.
Asif Sheikh, 22 years old and wanting to be the hero for Nepal in creating some history at this T20 World Cup. And those who follow this team closely have been saying for a while they've got it in them to beat a test nation. And tonight they've been showing exactly why. Like a rocket.
Yeah, and really dominating, winning the toss, saying we'll have a bowl, thank you very much. Kind of the idea that I thought Nepal would go in for, bowl South Africa out for under 120, give themselves a chance. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. They're into third street. 36 to win.
Yeah, and they can relax, got the big hits. Take the single, 13 off the over, 82 for 2.
Let's put what's happening this evening into context here, because if Nepal win, what that does, it sets up an absolute blockbuster on Sunday, with Nepal and Bangladesh going head-to-head, with the winners going into the Super 8.
Yep, Nepal and Bangladesh play each other. Netherlands face Sri Lanka. That's how this group winds up. We've got Aiden Markram bowling himself, so some more spin. Just wonder whether they could have bowled more spin earlier. But also, how easy will he be to hit? Now that these batters are settled, the partnership is 48 off 37, Dale.
Oh, it's a walk in the park, really. I mean, I feel like they're, in this over, they might look to take on Aiden Markram. The ball seems to be playing a little bit better. The pitch seems to be playing a little bit better the second innings. And they're 2 hits away from really just taking this game and walking away with it right now from South Africa.
Just wonder if South Africa have missed a trick here. We saw how much the ball turned in that first innings. Maybe they were fixated by thinking, well, if we expose them to big pace, Nepal might not be used to that. But maybe the way to go was maybe give Markram a bowl earlier.
I tend to agree with you, Brian, but the sense of Nepal not being used to express pace, that South Africa might have just been able to blast out that top order. Well, in fact, they used the pace well. A 50 partnership up between these two now, well established, looking for that finish line. Big, it's high though, it's not long. And getting underneath it, Janssen takes a good tumbling catch. So Markram's spin again does get a wicket, it breaks up this stand. Is there still a stutter here for Nepal?
Yeah, just like we were talking about. Spin for the win. South Africa bringing on Aiden Markram, bringing on himself. South Africa desperate for a wicket. In the great hands of Marco Janssen, taking a good catch. We've seen a couple catches go down tonight from that dark sky. And that is the end of Anil Shah for 27. Nepal are now 85 for 3.
Well, Dipendra Singh Airi is known as a big hitter. He can be a finisher. He starred with the ball earlier, 3 for 21. Nepal need just 31 runs to win here. And then this team of players will go down in legend in Nepal cricketing history.
I just wonder whether this was the right approach. I know the modern way is to get after the bowlers, attack, 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 but less than a run a ball needed. A little bit of conservatism might have been the way to go. Well, in the end, the wicket for Markram, 86 for 3.
Oh, Monty Desai, the coach, looking a bit nervous in the dugout, probably because of this. Seen a number of catches dropped in the deep tonight. First time these floodlights are being used. They are nice and bright, but it's an adjustment for players who've been playing morning games. South Africa, all their day games in New York. Well, fabulous partnership for that third wicket. Broken now with the wicket of Anil Shah. They put on 50 of 40 balls, he and Asif. This would keep alive their hopes in the Super 8s. It would get them an historic win over a test-playing nation for the very first time. Five and over. They don't need to panic. Just keep cool heads in the chase.
Yeah, and that wicket may have just opened a door for South Africa, yeah. Runs have been difficult, boundaries have been difficult. We were talking about that previous over. You feel if Nepal had just batted normally for the next 2 overs, they could have scored 5 or 6, put South Africa deeper under pressure. Then South Africa have to make a play. They've got a wicket now and Bartman is running in. The runs continue to flow.
Shamsi's only got 1 over left. He's picked up 2 wickets. He was the one who first of all put the brakes on South Africa. When do you bowl him for his final over?
Yeah, South Africa will have to play that card soon, I feel. They're running out of runs to play with right now. With the fall of the previous wicket, they might have just bought themselves 2 overs here of seam just to get themselves back into the game.
Oh, he's nailed the gap. It's a good bit of work on the boundary. Tristan Stubbs going full stretch. And good teamwork as well there with Marco Jansen to get the ball back into the centre.
Yeah, great fielding this by Tristan Stubbs, making up for the error he made a couple overs ago. A little knuckleball this by Bartman. Just going to have a look at if this is a boundary, but I feel like he stopped it well inside the boundary rope. Marco Jansen backing him up there. This is exactly what South Africa need. Not a lot of runs to play with. Every run counts. 27 needed for Nepal now.
Quick single taken. Good from Nepal. 26 more needed. Well, Bertel opened the batting, but it was his bowling which really stole the show earlier. 4 for 19. And there were big scalps he took as well, including the big wicket of Heinrich Klaasen, who has been South Africa's 6-hitting machine in this World Cup.
Well, we just saw that package of Bertel's bowling. And one of the most exciting things from my perspective was that he was given the last over. That was a big call by Rohit Paudel, but it proved to be the correct one. A couple of wickets went down, and South Africa just couldn't get any momentum at the back end of their innings.
Yeah, I loved how he tossed the ball up too. He wasn't scared to give it air. The first ball went for 6, but after that, picking up a couple wickets.
5 overs to go. Nepal needing 25 for a piece of history. 91 for 3.
That is the equation for Nepal. 25 from 30 required. Here's Aiden Markram, the South African captain. Did he bring himself on too late tonight? What drama we have already had here in St. Vincent at the Arnisvale cricket ground. This is how the phases have gone for Nepal. It's been tight. He's made some room. He looks to play that sweep, finds David Miller. Every ball, everyone is staring at this little white ball in this stadium.
Yeah, they're in the pound seats. 92 for 3. South Africa were 82 for 3. And just a case of knocking around 5 and over. They just need singles. They don't need to panic, and I'm sure a boundary or two will come at the back end. But I suppose the fact that they haven't had much experience of getting over the line in big encounters might just work against them. And that's what South Africa will be hoping, that they'll panic, they can pick up a few wickets and really try and strangle at the back end.
22 years of age, Asif Sheikh, and 24, that's all Dipendra Singh Ari is. 2 young batters. Works it round leg side.
Well, the one thing you have to say is Nepal are well prepared for this tournament. You know, they left Nepal in the first week of May after a series against West Indies A. They went to Florida, then they came here to St. Vincent to practice.
Have to just be careful. Every fielder is staring at this ball because there's, I'm not saying there's panic, but there's every run is like a bar of gold out there.
Yeah, this is brilliant from David Miller. Launches himself to get a hand, and he returns it as quickly as possible. If it had gone to Quinton de Kock, it might have been in business.
Finds the gap. It'll be 1. It's another run towards the total. 95 for 3, 4 overs to go. Roddy Estwick, who's very much in the Nepal camp. He's helping them with their bowling, with their thinking. Nepal need 21 from 24. Nepal, their supporters have traveled thousands of miles to watch their heroes. Well, their heroes could be the kings of Kathmandu if they pull this off tonight. We saw them support for Nepal in Dallas in the first match they played. It was phenomenal. Here's Marco Jansen. We're going to get one quick run.
And I'm guessing the next over, Sean, we're going to see Tabriz Shamsi back in. That'll be the 18th. And he'll need to bowl from this end, the commentary box end of this Arnisvale, because that will mean the right-handers will be hitting into the wind when they're hitting leg side.
Yeah, he's got one left, and I believe after the way he's bowled 2 for 17 that he has to be reintroduced to have a big over, try and pick up a wicket, try and make sure that there's no runs accumulated. I think his over will be vitally important in this encounter.
I think you might have got something on that. Bat pad.
I think it was just a leading edge. It's popped up into no man's land, landed safely. Another run. Every run has been applauded by the dugout.
Well, this is just an extraordinary chase. Don't forget that Bangladesh against South Africa held their nerve in that tight chase. This is very tight. 19 from 22 required. Squirts one out to deep point for one. They don't mind getting these in singles, but a couple of boundaries would certainly light up that dugout.
This is the way they need to go about it. Nothing extravagant. There's no need to do anything silly. There are gaps in the field, of course. But unless the opportunity presents itself, just push it round, rotate the strike.
Short. He's tall and he gets that little extra bounce, does Marco Jansen. He's got good numbers tonight. Jansen hasn't got a wicket yet though. 14 dot balls. He's only gone for 16.
Yeah, I think the difficulty both from a playing perspective and a mental perspective is if you lose wickets and the new batter has to come in, it's going to be much more difficult for that person to get going. We've seen how it's been a bit of a challenging pitch with regards to the ball holding up. So these two, they've been at the crease for 18 deliveries now.
Looks for the Yorker.
Well bowled. It's a brave delivery because it's kind of been the back of the length where South Africa have hovered around. Deciding to venture up nice and full and executing perfectly.
Well, they haven't been still all night. My word, they've been partying all night. And what will it be when, if this is a heist in St. Vincent by Nepal over this superb South African side? You know, it's a full toss and it's gone past the bat. 17 overs gone, 98 for 3. To brace Shamsi, as Sean Pollock was saying, has to bowl this over. Shamsi 2 for 17 in 3. $18 required from 18 in the match in New York against Bangladesh. South Africa defended 20 in the last 3 overs. Here 18 are required by Nepal.
What will Nepal's strategy be? Will they decide to try and take a risk against Shamsi? Will they look to go airborne, or are they just going to knock it around in his last over and make sure they see him off? Will they see him as a danger man?
Asif Sheikh, 22 years of age here, 41 from 46. One enormous 6 and 4 boundaries. He's worked so hard for this, for his country. Pitch, he's oozing confidence. He wants to steer Nepal home here.
Well, I think it's important for him to realize the fact that if he stays on and stays on till the very end, it's Nepal's games to lose. It will be so very crucial if he stays on, because not too many runs to score, and as you rightly pointed out, 42 or 47 is well set, but he needs to stay there.
Pitched outside leg stump. Quinton de Kock wants it. The umpire says you can have it. He's given the catch behind, and it's been reviewed straight away by Dipendra Singh Irie.
TV umpire director, we have a player review for beyond. On-field decisions out. Check bowl's feet, fair look, front on.
down. All right, pass this close to the glove there by the looks. I'm going to need ultra edge, please. Thank you. Ultra edge coming up. Through, roll it through. Flat line. And thank you. I've got ball. Clear spike. Go back to the on-field. Thanks. Joel, you can stay with your screen signal now.
Yeah, Joel Wilson was convinced it brushed that glove. Dipendra Singh Airy didn't want that decision to go their way, but it's gone. He's gone for 6. It's 99 for 4. And in comes now the left-handed 20-year-old Kushal Muller, who's not played first class, but in all the other formats he's got a century. That 137 not out in 50 balls against Mongolia last year. And his 100 was in 34 balls. 34 balls, that century. But now, can he join Asif Sheikh to steer Nepal home here and make it their night in St. Vincent? Tabraiz Shamsi, when he came on, he changed things with a dramatic first over, picking up 2 wickets in his first. He's got 3 balls to complete his 4th. That brings up the 100 for Nepal. Psychologically, it'll do them a power of good.
Designed to play a shot down the leg side, trying to play that sweep. Just get the bottom part of the glove. Yes, he knew it. It's an important wicket and also an important over. He needs to finish off nicely here now. 16 from 14.
And 16 from 14. Asif Sheikh on strike.
Yo!
Kushal Muller's come herring down from the non-striker's end.
There's 1 ball to go and there's lost 2 overs, and Markram has got some options. Will it be Rabada? Will it be Bartman? Will it be Nokia? Could even be Aidan Markram himself.
Oh, he's bowled him. Tabraiz Shamsi has weaved a spell of magic tonight against Nepal. That's his 4th.
Yeah, he has indeed, Will Clay. He got 2 wickets in his first over, and now in his last over he's picked up another 2. Picked up the wickets of people who are set and had put on a bit of a partnership, and that's a great delivery. As it pitches, it rips in, goes between bat and pad, clatters into Asif's stumps, and he's off for his celebration, and so he should be. His performance tonight for South Africa has been fantastic. 4 overs, 4 for 19. Let's see if he goes for 42. It's 100 for 5.
Tabraiz Shamsi, 4 overs, 12 dot balls, 4 for 19. 16 required from 12 balls. New batter is Gulshan Jar. Strike rate is healthy, 136. He's got 150 in there. It's the first time that 12 wickets have gone to spin. All 12 have gone to spin in a T20 international in a match played in the West Indies. Aidan Markram, does he feel that the tide has turned South Africa's way?
And also the option, he's decided to go to Nortje. I suppose you could have gone to the option of Markram, 2 left-handers at the crease, but Nortje it is, so it's pace on. And that's a brilliant start. The South Africans are up for it in the field. They know every run is going to be vital. And what a great delivery this from Shamsi. Bit of turn, just clips the top of the off-stump bail, and he's off, and so he should be.
Yeah, I also thought that perhaps it was going to be Aidan Markram who's going to bring himself on in the attack because of the 2 left-handers and the 2 new batters in the crease.
Ball in! Nortje strikes, and the wickets are tumbling here.
Yeah, the South Africans in the crowd, they're elated, and it's a brilliant start to the over. 16 to defend off the 2 overs, and in the first 2 deliveries, Nepal unable to get anything away. Nortje goes for length. He might have thought Yorkers, but he didn't. He went for length, crashes into the top of middle stump, knocks the plastic off the top of it. And you can see how happy they are. They've now got belief that South Africa could hold their nerve and win this encounter against Nepal. Muller goes for 1, 100 for 6.
Sompal Kami is the new batter, 28 years of age. He's played some franchise cricket in the Canadian GT20. His highest score is 40 in T20Is. And
it's going to be a delay, Wilco, because that stump was broken, and this was the delivery that did the damage. Have a look at that plastic bit at the top of the stumps. That goes flying as well as the bails, and that was a hard length by Nortje, 144 kilometers per hour. And the decision to turn to him has worked for the captain Markram. South Africa now have 16 to defend of 10 deliveries.
But before that, that middle stump needs repairing. Could just feel when Nortje was bowling a little early, he was getting frustrated. He wasn't getting the ball to do, he wasn't getting things going his way. 115 for 7 was the South African score. Reza Hendricks with 43, Tristan Stubbs quick fire 27 not out. And in reply, at one stage Nepal were 100 for 4. They've just lost 2 wickets. It's 100 for 6. And the ICC Men's T20 World Cup continues tomorrow. We're hoping for good weather, better weather. It's been appalling down there in Florida. India against Canada. Today, of course, the United States, Ireland, that match was washed out. So it's India-Canada tomorrow in Lauderhill. Local time, it's a 10:30 start.
Yeah, the last 6 deliveries, South Africa has managed to pick up 3 wickets, and giving away only a single run.
Well, they've held their nerve. Here's Nortje. Klaassen, Heinrich Klaassen, such these big names. Really, this has been for Nepal. They've been climbing their Everest of cricket.
It's been an exciting World Cup from the perspective of there's been low scores that have been defended. 119 India versus Pakistan, 113 South Africa versus Bangladesh, and could it be 115 here tonight?
Oh gosh. You know, there are 8 peaks, mountain peaks, over 8,000 feet in Nepal, and in terms of cricket, this would have been and still is Nepal cricket's highest. They're still on the mountain. Can they make the final summit? Oh my word, that is enormous. A magnificent strike from Sompal Kami.
Yeah, this is quality. This is a massive hit. I think that's over 100 meters. It's interesting. Nortje decided to go for a change-up. He had bowled 4 deliveries in the over, 141, 144, 145, 142. Then he goes for the back of the hand, 114. And Kami absolutely middles it in position. 105 meters, that could be the biggest that we've almost seen in the tournament. That was absolutely middled.
Is that the moment? Is that the game-changing moment? That is a big shot. That is a humongous shot.
Oh my word. The noise it made off the bat. It was out of this world. 10 from 7 required for Nepal. Nobody's moving in Kathmandu and Kirtipur. They're watching this. Sompal swings the bat again. He wants to. He's going back for the second. It's gone to the wrong end, you felt. Sompal's so quick. 19 gone, 1 over to go, 8 required from Nepal. Eight runs required, Atar Ali Khan.
7 for super over. Now they're having some great time there. Full credit to Nepal. Good running, really good running. Coming back for the second, taking on the fielder. They can feel it. They're on the edge of creating some history here.
Well, this could be the party of all parties tonight. Nepal, they've had some magnificent days and evenings, nights in their history. They've never beaten a full member nation before. They're playing the mighty South Africans, who are already qualified.
Yeah, it's swinging back and forth here, isn't it, Wilco? I mean, they needed 16 of 10 deliveries, and at that stage you felt that South Africa were in charge. Then all of a sudden one disappears. They pick up 2 runs off the next delivery, 8 from 2, and now they need 8 from 6.
Bartman, last over. And Gulshan Jar cannot make contact. 8 from 5.
He needs to get a single. He needs to get Sompal on strike. He's been there for 4 deliveries and hit that massive 6. In South Africa, they'll be trying to get in as close as possible to make sure there's no easy singles and that the right-hander does not get on strike.
Well, Bartman is a relative newcomer to the South African Proteas. There's pressure on him to deliver here as well. Gulshan cannot afford to miss here. It's gone wide. Is it wide? Umpire, all eyes on the umpire. Joel Wilson keeps those arms behind his back.
It's 8 from 4. The first 2 deliveries have been dots. If you look at the field on the offside, 3 fielders are inside the circle. So he's probably searching to play a big shot. Yep, fair enough. Inside that blue line, so it's a fair delivery.
Sompal Kami just went down and had a word with Gulshan Jar. He's only 18 years of age. Cracks it over extra. It's 4. Gulshan Jar gets 4 for Nepal.
Yeah, that's a fantastic strike. He's missed the last 2, but he's absolutely middled that one. He's got it in front of square on the offside. He just needs 1 more of these smacks and it's over the line for Nepal. A historic moment could be unfolding right before our eyes.
Now that's the shot that I was exactly talking about, taking on the fielders on the offside. It was just a touch fuller and wider, and I hit that over the top of the cover fielder for a boundary. Great shot.
Make no mistake, Aidan Markram said at the toss, we've already qualified for the second round for the Super 8s, but we want to win this match. We respect our opponents. 4 from 3. Crack again. Is it going for 4? No, it's not. Reza Hendricks saves the boundary. 2 from 2 required for the most magnificent night in Nepal's cricket history.
The nerves, they're jangling, they can't bear to be seated in the Nepal dugout. The fans, they can't be seated either. There's a new belief, 16 from 10. They probably thought they were done and dusted. One massive hit out of the ground, they were back in the picture, and now just 2 runs away from history.
You're looking at an 18-year-old here. His heart rate, I dread to think what his heart rate might be. Nepal 2 from 2. Gulshan Jha on strike. Oh, it's well delivered. Oh, goodness me. Otniel Bartman, he can afford a smile. It's a nervous smile. We're down to the last ball. 2 wins it. 1 super over.
Any of those two is very much a possibility here.
Yeah, lots of discussion here between Otniel Bartman and Markram. What is the length he's going to bowl? The one that's been effective is the back of length, the short pitch delivery. Quinton de Kock is communicating, saying, come on, get to the stumps, everyone. They got to get 1 for a super over. Can they get 2 for a victory? It's all on the line.
2 required. Oh, it can't. Now then, is he short of his ground?
I think he is.
Quinton de Kock has given it out himself. Joel Wilson says we need to see this. Chris Brown is the TV umpire.
He throws it, it ricochets off the back. Klaasen gets it onto the stumps. Now we wait for the decision.
For a out. Bowlers in. Best side angle, please. Thank you. Coming up now. Short of the ground. You're short of the ground. Yeah, roll. Roll it, please. Roll it. Is it when it first lights up? Thank you. Batter is short. Freeze it there. Ready to make my decision for the big screen.
Heinrich Klaasen with a piece of magic, a backhand flick, has made the run out. Nepal was so close to the summit. They could see the summit. They couldn't quite get there. South Africa have held their nerve. They have won. They've beaten mighty Nepal by just 1 run. But my word, this night belongs to Nepal.
Yeah, it was a fascinating end to an exciting encounter. You do wonder, South Africa might have appealed the fact of obstructive running if they didn't manage to get the ball, but Klaasen held his nerve. The rebound came off the back of Gulshan. He got the ball in his hand, backhanded it onto the stumps, and you can see the emotion. They were on the verge of history. They were on the verge of beating South Africa. Unfortunately, just maybe a foot or 2 short of victory.
Yeah, so close yet so far. They made a great effort to get close to pull up their biggest win of their lives.
An evening that will linger long in the memories of all of us here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Nepal fans are upset. They are emotionally attached to this gallant Nepal side. It's the youngest squad in the tournament. Only 1 player over the age of 30. They're all in their 20s. There was an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old at the end, and this is the final moment, the final ball.